Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thank you very much for watching our earwax removal video today. If you've never come across the channel before, we post new earwax removal videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 PM UK time. So if you do enjoy the video, then give us a thumbs up and please consider subscribing. So I've got two patients in this compilation video for you today. The first gentleman's come through. His partner was actually watches our videos quite a bit on Facebook. So he's come through the clinic today to get his ear cleaned out. Without further ado, we'll go through and I'll explain things as we're going along. So what you'll see here is that we've got this very soft wax here at the entrance. Now the patient has been using some olive oil to soften this up, and we do recommend a bit of olive oil use just before you come into clinic, maybe just for a day or two before. It helps to soften the edge of the wax and helps us to get a good grip on the wax itself. Now we've got the standard size ulnar tube in here, and what you'll notice is this wax is moving really freely. So the olive oil has actually done a really good job of unsticking this from the canal wall, but the wax itself, the block, is a little bit too long to fit out, and it's a bit of an awkward angle, so it's not quite coming out with this ulnar tube, despite the wiggling that's going on there. It's not coming away very well. I'm trying to roll it, but the back end of the wax is too long to flick it over. So we're opting to use the crocodile forceps here to break this down. So I'll just let this bit do its job, and I'll explain why we chose the forceps over the Jobson horn for this. So you can see we've managed to pull the wax forwards and break a section away here. And if we just, I'm trying to get a good grip, but you can see it's just crumbled that front section. So we'll go back to the standard size ulnar tube to remove this. Now, the reason we opted for the crocodile forceps over the Jobson horn is how mobile that piece of wax was. So you saw it was moving really, really well. The difficulty is when you put the Jobson horn in there, it's when you try and push it over the top of that wax, it just would have pushed that wax much further in, so it made it harder to get to, and we would have had to draw it back down the canal again. If you use the forceps and grip from the outside and pull, then it means you can wedge it into that canal entrance quite easily, and then you've got a better chance of getting this out. You can see here we're struggling a little bit to move this wax because there's a piece of dry skin, look, just there. So that's been sitting against the canal wall and dried into the wax itself. But watch what happens when we pull this now with the forceps. It unravels a whole long layer of skin that's running down the right hand side of this wax. It's still coming away. And there we go. So this very long piece of dry skin's been holding this in. Now we've cleared that away, we can start maneuvering this wax just to try and pull it across now and get it out of the canal. So we can get this top section and start to bring this forwards. There we are, you can see it just wiggling back and forth here. It's on its way. There we are. So we've managed to duck that top piece underneath the entrance to the canal. And as we bring this out, you can see this very long section. You've got this lighter material at the bottom. That's where the dry skin was bound around the back end of the wax there. And as we take this away, now you can see this pulling away really nicely. Now when we take a look, you can see we've got this whole section tucked down in the valley there. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to bring that away. So I've got this, I'm going to try with the standard size ulnar tube first. But as you can see, when we get it up close to the wax only covers about halfway up the tube, so we don't get that good suction grip. If we switch now to the fine end, we get a little bit more put my teeth in, a little bit more maneuverability, and we can grab hold of that wax and just draw it out of that space. And because the gentleman had been using some olive oil, you can see it coating that wax there, the whole thing came away really nicely. If he hadn't been and that had dried down there, it would have been a much more difficult removal because you're working around that bend to the bottom right corner. So there's the skin we removed, just over 1.5 centimeters, and then we've got 2 centimeters worth of wax there. So if you look at the size of the skin in relation to the wax, it was quite a hefty piece of skin there, and that was actually bound around. That thin end you can see dropping to the right side was bound around the bottom end of the wax there. So this is the second patient in the compilation. Quite an interesting one, this one. Patient had some really sort of dry skin material stuck to the top of the canal wall there, which was dropping down in front of the eardrum. Now you can see there was a little gap there at the bottom of the wax, which the sound could still get through, but just annoying. This was opening and closing all the time, so the patient was really struggling. But as you can see, as you pull down from the top, you can see those skin layers peeling away there. This really dry, sticky skin material here as well. Oh, stay tuned to the end, guys. I've got some stuff to chat to you about at the end if you don't mind hanging on just after the video. So we've got this piece of skin here. It's dropped down from the top, crocodile forceps on this now because it's less noisy for the patient to try and get some of this away. And sometimes if we get a good grip, there we are. Look at this pulling away, this long piece of skin coming away there. You can see all the texture of the skin as it came away. Now, there's probably a little bit of wax embedded in here as well, but as you can see, we've just got these long, long ribbons forming. So as we pull this down from the top of the canal, it's actually drawing down the ear canal as well. Look at this coming away. Long, long pieces of skin again. I did try and get it out in one piece because it's really satisfying when it comes out in one piece, but it just kept shearing off. It didn't quite have the structure there we needed. A little bit more sort of keratinous material here. As this is pulling away, you can see we're having to take it away and clear away and just unstick it all off the end of the suction tube. Trying to get a good grip here on that last section. It looks like it's going to break. Yep, there it goes. And there's a little bit of wax. You can see the difference on this more honey-colored material at the back. That's wax. This front section here was all skin. So we had this little bit of wax that was trapped behind it and trapping it all right down close to the eardrum there. Last piece now is if we can get a good grip on this with the crocodile forceps. It's a bit of an awkward angle to get the Zollner tube on here. It's a bit of a tough one to try and sort of, because it's not particularly big. It's this sort of very thin edge to it, which is why we're still using the crocodile forceps for the time being. There we are, and that's come away, and a little bit of skin came with it as well. And if we take a look, we just got a little bit of debris here to the left-hand side, so we'll just suction the top of this away. There we go, that's lovely. And the eardrum there just behind it. So you can see we've kind of bunched all the skin up a little bit there, but you can see all those skin materials. The bit around about the ½ inch mark is actually the wax, and the bits to the left and right of that are those skin material pieces there you can see. So yeah, really interesting one to do. Let's just go back to my normal, there we are, back to my normal view and put this back down again. Yeah, very, very interesting cases. So both had this layer of dry skin in there, but the first one was trapping the wax behind it, and the second one, it was mostly dry skin that was causing the issue. We did have a little bit of wax there at the end there. Okay, so a couple of things. Thank you so much for everybody who commented on the last video. We talked about doing a live because I'm really conscious. I'm sorry I'm not getting to respond to you guys. We're just so busy with everything with lockdown and patients and everything else at the moment. I'm just not getting the time to do it. So I thought what we do is we do a Q&A for you guys where you can just fire your questions at me and I'll answer them all for you. I'm up for the Q&A. Mrs. B, I feel, is going to need a little bit more persuading. She's almost there. She's almost committed to coming on. Drop in the comment section below. Let's call out Mrs. B. Let's get her on this live because I'd love her to be there as well because you haven't seen her for a little while. And everyone also said that they wanted to hear the radio interview we did with BBC Radio Wales. I'm going to get that onto YouTube for you as well, so you can have a listen to that. So keep an eye out for the live that's coming up. We will put a notification up. We'll try and do it over the next week. We're going to nail Mrs. B down and a date at the same time. So don't forget. Drop in the comment section below how much you want to see Mrs. B on a live. And as always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and I shall see you again real soon.